Hi everybody, and welcome back to a sort of late November update. The garage is a little bit on the cooler side of things, to be fair. So I've got a heater going in the background, if you can probably hear that whirring away. So my intention was to make a video where I did a lot of practical work and recorded it and then showed you. However, something went wrong. I seem to have lost some of the footage. I'm not sure where that is. So now I'm just going to give you a little overview of what I have done, which is interesting because I started it and then I had to change what I was doing and made a few mistakes. So anyway, let me just talk you through a few things that I have done wrong and had to correct. So as you may not know, I am tending to use a lot of the Merg equipment, and the main thing I've been trying to attempt to do is to run this track, as you can see just here, and the idea behind that was then to have a control panel which had some LEDs on it, which then would light up depending on if there was a train on the track or not. So I laid the track as you saw in a previous video, and I put on the decouplers. Now I have come across a few issues with these. I've got one train that just basically gets jammed on it. I've got another one which had an issue, but I have popped out the actual decoupling or uncoupling mechanisms on these because I don't need them. They're really only there to try to help put the trains back on, and I have just run some temporary track down to the bottom. This is the only one here which is actually in place. The rest of them are just lengths of track to run something across, just a test. So the first mistake I made was, I don't really know why I made this. So I intended to use these devices, which I have done, which is a DCC sort of detection platform. Track comes in, track goes out, and you have a output here, this is apparently an opto isolator. So you provide power and it switches it on or off. Great for use for LEDs, but I'm using it onto one of these sort of cameo devices. I went and wired all this up and I joined all the tracks together. So I'll say it a bit like I don't know, just everything was joined up. So if you put something on here, the LED light for this one would go on. I soon realised my mistake and I had to go and rewire everything, which is fine. So now I have basically a traction bus for each of these, which is separate. But in amongst doing that, I did manage to trash this. This is basically a short circuit protection, a district cutout device. I don't know what happened to it. It basically was telling me there's a short all the time. And apparently there was a couple of devices just here called FETs that could be wrong. I've managed to unsolder the two of them, but I've managed to solder up the hole, so I've got to sort that out. I have got a couple of replacement FETs that I now can use in that to see if I can get it to work. Anyhow, I had to go off and build a new one of those, which I did. So the plan was put the tracks in, put the DCOs, make sure they work. They did, and then perform or put back in the new DCO so that it was all running. So I'm going to give you a quick demonstration on that now. So hopefully you can see here that I've got my cam pan on and I've got another camera filming, so I'm hoping to be able to put one of my 37s on a track, and you can see that the LED to indicate the 5th siding is now occupied, which is fantastic. Just getting the train on like so, and we can demonstrate that that actually works. Select the loco, toot the horn. Excellent job. So there's one. So I'm just going to put another one on. I've got another 37 that I can put on a track as well. So I'm just going to stick that on. As you can see straight away, I have got indication that there is a train on track, which is also excellent. I can demonstrate that one as well. and we've got another horn, and we've got another LED on. Just going to go and find myself another unit that I can put on. One of my other favourites, a class 20. Thank you very much. Got class 20 and LED 3 is on. Bang, tidy. Got class 8 I can stick on as well. We've got another loco. Track 4 is occupied, and I've got something else I can put on. Let me put this 57 over here. They might actually be on the rails correctly. As you can see, all 5 of the lights are now indicated, which is exactly how I wanted it to be. So that's a quick demonstration of it in action. I also purchased a control panel. This is not actually built, it's just literally loosely put together, and it will sort of hang here, the idea behind it. I've also got a laminate print that I've had printed off, and the idea behind this is it will control the points, so the points that entry into the sidings or the sidings with all the indications on them as well. If you're interested to know, I've got these from, good question, can't remember, but I'll put a link to them. Oh, it's from a Grange and Hodder panel, I believe is who it's by. Just going back for these for a second, I'm just going to show you in a video that I did record how I wired those up. They were not particularly simple. There was a little bit of cutting, quite a lot of melting of the plastic with a soldering iron, intentionally or not, but I'm going to roll that footage for you now. I just want to touch on this. I can't remember where this came from, but somebody did ask me where did I pick this wire up from. So I'm using white and orange to go across for my low and high for my camber. So snow is low, orange is high for the sky kind of thing. So mainly because the sun's in the sky. So that's the way I'm working on it. And I had real difficulty finding out where I purchased, because it was a good 5 years ago that I probably purchased that wire. So I'm going to tell you now where I got that from. I was sorting out some of my boxes, and by sheer coincidence I came across a bag that basically had the name wireprovider.com on. So I went to their website, and they do lots of different colours. So I think I originally purchased something like 11 different colours of certain lengths, and I purchased it from eBay. So he obviously sent it through, and he labelled up the bag at that point in time with wireprovider.com. So I went onto the wireprovider.com. They do exactly the same stuff as they do on eBay. It's fractionally cheaper, I emailed the guy, said actually I just need a load of orange and white because I need to extend my CAN bus. And he basically gave me a price, sent me an a PayPal invoice, paid the invoice, and he sent them over. So I've got 60 meters, so 30, 30, 10, 10 and 10 in orange, 10, 10, 10 in white of wire, and it cost me, including postage, just over £14. It's exactly the same cable as I had before. I like it, it's a little bit more stiff. It's easier to wind into kind of a twisted motion, and it tends to hold its way or hold its position much better. So to make the CAN Mio devices run, you have to run a separate 12-volt supply to supply power for the servos. So I've laid the sort of cable wire work in, that is running all the way down to the far end. Next thing I need to do is kind of just basically extend up all this kind of stuff. So the point work hasn't yet been completed at the end, that's still to occur. I did finally get my new Electrofrog point motors. I think these are ordered from Hereford Models, and they turned up, and this one has had some modification done to it. I've extended the frog wire, as you can see. I've removed the two, let me just see if we can zoom in on that. I've removed the two little wires that go across those points just here, and I've added some wire across here. The reason for that is quite simple. If you don't cut the wires which are beneath this section just here, and you're running the frog, you will get a short. And if you leave that without running that join across at the back there, it means that this part and this section are all dependent on the power coming from the switch blades, which obviously over time can get dirty or may not make a decent contact. So with that, the power is actually being taken from this track and run along the relevant point blade. So I have done that on this one. I've got to do that on all the other ones. I'm currently waiting on some brass rods or tubes, because my first point that I need to put in to sort of then run along needs to be offset. There's a piece of wooden beam just here. I can't get my point activator beneath it, so it needs to be just offset to one side. So that has been ordered. I thought I'd order them from a UK supplier. Turns out it's from a China supplier, and it has been dispatched a few weeks ago. So that is still to be done. Still on with the points. I have been playing again with coding these up using the CAN Mios to activate the servos. This is an example of one of the servos that I shall be using. So the issue, not the issue, but I want to have feedback on these. So using something like this, which is a Hall effect sensor. The intention is I've glued a couple of magnets on, if you can see that, there's a magnet here. And I've got a Hall effect sensor. I've got to work out a way to mount those so that as the servo moves from one side to another, the magnet comes up and literally touches that Hall effect sensor. The idea behind that is these will then be plugged into the CAN Mio, and will also give me feedback that the points have actually moved direction that I've requested. So I'll not only have a button and a to actually do that, but I also have some indication, sort of like red and green, will actually mean that they've actually moved across, which would be rather excellent. And if you haven't seen one of my previous ones, this is the CAN Mio with a relay extension board on it that effectively allows me to switch the frog polarity. So one other thing, I was trying to do a little project for something else. Now, as you may remember, I've got a Merg controller underneath, which is running these things, and I've got a Merg 4.5 amp booster, which is running the track. Now, I can also run a a programming track at the same time as everything's being on track kind of thing, so which is really handy. The issue that I had was everything was bare wired, and as it happened, I purchased a load of these things, kind of male to female DC connectors with screw terminals on. I was thinking about it, I thought, brilliant. I can basically put a connector, like so, the female, from my Merg command control platform, and I just realised there's a bit of a loose wire there, and that means I can plug it into here or into there whenever I want. The actual rolling road has another female end on it as well, which if I need to, I can use kind of the Pico wheel cleaners, plug them into that as well, so it's quite straightforward to connect everything up as and when I require it. So these are really good, again from eBay, really cheap. I picked up 2 packs of 10 female, 10 male. Really handy things to have they are. One of the other things I've been doing, which hasn't necessarily been practical but has been quite interesting, is I've obviously, as you saw in one of my previous videos, I have been playing around with Decoder Pro, and I've been trying to get the Uncouple Shuffle or the Uncouple Waltz working, and I've programmed that, so I will put a little link up in the top of the video to that video. And all I've done is effectively set a couple of CVs, and the Loco does the shuffle, which I am really pleased about. The other thing I really wanted to do, and I've been looking into, is getting the Zimmo manual braking feature. Now I've got that on one of my newer HSTs. The issue that I've got is that they are all the things you can see pretty much there, with the exception of the 57 and the Class 8. Those 4 all use Zimmo sound decoders, and they are at the wrong firmware version. So they all need to be 33.33.25 release or above, I believe, for the actual braking feature to operate. And they're all either 33 or lower, which is really annoying. So I am trying to borrow a Zimmo decoder updater, if that's the right word, so that I can upgrade the, so I think I've got about 10 chips that I can do. I do have a Z21 system. Annoyingly, you can't update these particular chips. I did try and it went, no, can't do it, it's not one of our chips. And it's like, well, it's a Zimmo chip, but it's an MX4644, and apparently you can't update those. I thought they were all, I thought I bought MX645s, but apparently not. Anyway, yes, I did get, which I'm very pleased about, the Shuffle, which I think will be brilliant for my planned kind of Eddie Stobart freight yard that I want to put on the other side of the layout. So that's it really for the November 2020 update. I have done a fair amount of kind of work. I've done a little bit of tidying up. I bought another box so I can put more wire in there, because you just need an endless supply of wire. And I did say to myself I would never compromise on the colouring of the wire, because it's quite important to know in the years to come, you know, what is orange, what is white, what is purple, what is pink, what is black, what is red, and green is for my fog dropping. And I do have them also for the sensors as well, but I might change that at some point. I did say I was not going to compromise, didn't I? Anyway, I hadn't thought about the frogs. There you go. So yeah, if I can get the brass tube in and I can put those in place, that would be fantastic. I can then get the Hall effect sensors going. I've still got to build all the circuits for the Hall effect sensors, and then the final bit for the hidden sidings would be the laser, above ground laser detectors. So across the track I'll have a number of those to actually say, you know, when a train is going in, one near the end where the buffers are, so you know, bring it down to a certain speed, to a crawl effectively, and then when the light goes on the control panel, I can stop the train. So once again, thank you very much for watching.
Hope you've enjoyed the little November update, or end of November update. I'm going to leave you with a little bit of a running of some of my locomotives on my hidden siding. They've all got sound, hopefully you can hear it. That's the Class 8 firing up right now. If you enjoy these little videos, the updates and some other practical stuff that I do, then please do not hesitate to hit the subscribe button. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell. You will be sent an email every time that I post a new video. Every little bell and subscription helps. So, once again, thanks very much. Hope to see you again soon. That's goodbye from me for now. Goodbye.